If you are thinking about buying a condo or apartment style property in Prince George, whether you are relocating here, buying your first place, or just exploring your options, there's one question that almost nobody thinks to ask, and it could completely change how easy it is to finance your purchase, how freely you can sell when you're ready to move on, and how much protection you actually have as a renter or landlord. That question is, are you buying a strata or a co-op? These two things are not the same. From the outside, they can look identical. Same building, same unit, same monthly fee. But underneath the surface, the legal structure is completely different. One gives you real property with your name on the title, the other gives you shares in a corporation. And that difference dictates how easily you can finance, how freely you can sell, and what legal protections you actually have. Let's start with strata. A strata property is created when a developer files a strata plan at the Land Title Office. That plan divides a building into individual units called strata lots and identifies the shared areas as common property. When you buy a strata lot, you get fee simple ownership of your individual unit. Fee simple is the strongest form of real property ownership available in British Columbia. You hold registered title in your name at the Land Title Office. Your unit is yours. On top of that, you own a proportional share of the common property alongside every other unit owner. That is calculated based on the unit entitlement, essentially your unit's square footage relative to the whole building. All the unit owners together form the Strata Corporation. This is the legal entity that manages, maintains, insures, and repairs the common areas. It elects a Strata Council to handle day-to-day decisions. As a Strata owner, you pay monthly Strata fees that go into two funds: the operating fund for regular expenses and the contingency reserve fund, the building savings account for major repairs down the road. Now let's talk about cooperatives. When you buy into a cooperative in BC, you are not buying real estate. You are buying shares in a corporation. That corporation owns the building. As a shareholder, you get the right to occupy a specific unit, but the title to that property does not go in your name. You do not have a fee simple interest. This is not a minor technicality, it is a completely different legal structure. Cooperatives in BC are governed by the Cooperative Association Act and a shareholders agreement rather than the Strata Property Act. The board of directors holds significant power over what happens in that building. Now, co-ops do exist, and some are perfectly fine places to live. I'm not here to scare you away from them. What I am here to do is make sure you understand what you are getting into before you make that call. So let's put it side by side. Legal status. Strata gives you registered title and fee simple ownership. A co-op gives you corporate shares plus an occupancy right. Financing. Strata supports a standard mortgage. Pretty straightforward. A co-op means specialized lenders only with limited options. And resale. With a strata, you sell on the open market with no permission needed. With a co-op, the board of directors must approve your buyer. The governing law. Strata falls under the Strata Property Act. A co-op is governed by the Cooperative Association Act and a shareholders agreement. Keep that table in mind, because each one of those rows has a real impact on your experience as a buyer. Here is where the rubber meets the road for most buyers. Getting financing for a strategy property is straightforward. Lenders understand fee simple ownership. There's a title registered at the Land Title Office. They put a mortgage against it. Simple. Financing a co-op is a different story because you are buying shares in a corporation, not registered real property. Most traditional lenders, including the big banks, will not issue a standard mortgage for a co-op purchase. There is no title for them to register their security interest against. Some specialized lenders will work with co-ops, but your options are far more limited and the terms are often less favorable. For first-time buyers already navigating pre-approval, stress tests, and down payment requirements, this adds a layer of complexity most people are not expecting. And this matters especially if you're relocating to Prince George from the Lower Mainland. Do not assume your standard condo pre-approval carries over to a co-op here. Talk to a specialized BC mortgage broker first. Now let's talk about selling. With a strata property, you can sell your unit to whoever you want. No committee, no application, no interview. You list, you find a buyer, you close the deal. The Strata Corporation cannot block your sale. Co-ops are different. the board of directors must approve a prospective buyer before the sale can go through. Think about what that means in practice. You find a buyer, they want the unit, you agree on the price, and then the co-op board decides whether they are an acceptable shareholder. If the board says no, that sale does not happen. Strata guarantees flexibility on your timeline. Co-ops introduce a layer of mandatory uncertainty. And now tenant protections. This one is a bit nuanced, so pay attention. If you own a Strata unit and rent it out, your tenant is covered by the Residential Tenancy Act. Standard landlord-tenant protections apply. Co-ops are a bit different. If you are a co-op owner, a shareholder, you cannot rely on the Residential Tenancy Act yourself. Your relationship with the cooperative is governed by the shareholders agreement. Here is where it gets interesting though. If a co-op owner rents their unit out to someone else, that actual tenant can rely on the Residential Tenancy Act. So the protection travels with the tenancy relationship, not with the share owner itself. If you are evaluating a co-op as an investment property, consult a BC cooperative lawyer before you finalize anything. So what does all this mean for you specifically? If you are a first-time buyer or a young family getting into Prince George market, go Strata. It gives you the most straightforward path, real ownership, clear financing, and full freedom when you sell. If you're a relocator moving from Vancouver, Kelowna, or the Lower Mainland, verify first. Do not assume your standard condo pre-approval applies to a Prince George co-op. Talk to a specialized lender immediately. If you are a bargain hunter or investor eyeing an attractively priced unit that turns out to be a co-op, proceed with caution. It's not a deal breaker, but you need to ask about the board approval process and have a lawyer review the shareholders agreement before you go any further. Navigating the Prince George real estate market doesn't have to be stressful. I have a free seller's guide if you're planning to list, relocation guide for anyone moving to Prince George, and if you're looking to buy and want more tailored information, ask about my home buyers program. On top of the buyer's guide, I'll send you exclusively weekly videos and emails to walk you through the process step by step. Just comment the word guide below, tell me which one fits your situation, and I'll send the link right over. And when you're ready to actually look at homes or list your property, the easiest way to connect is to call, text, or email. All those details are in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.